Hi, I'm Danny, and this is a complete guide to fixing your mental health. First thing you need to do is read through the text. You need to have an understanding of how the mind works and how to use this. You can download it in Kindle format or PDF and then read through and then print out the exercises that I'm showing you now. So in the beginning there'll be a lot more text and that'll explain how emotion works, how the mind works, and all these things you might not know, because if you don't know then you're in trouble. It's what you don't know hurts you. So depression is generally more than one emotion. You can have doubt in there or worry, and these bounce people back down to depression. And even the same emotion of sadness or disappointment, it's not just one event, it's generally several events throughout life, or more than several, and they've all added up to a bigger emotion. So fundamentally, these are different exercises that you can do that are going to release that emotion. So let's begin. So this is the first thing you do. The second thing you need to do is to go through your present problems, because the problems are separate to the emotions. And I'm not going to go too much into all of it because there's a lot here to get through. So just if you read the description, it will explain why, but that's what you need to do. Then if there's anger, if there's hurt, if there's guilt, these are all treated differently. Then you want to look back at your life at different periods, at the times when you fell. What happened? What were the different events around that time? These are clues that are going to allow you to get yourself back. Then you want to turn your losses, your disappointments, into a plan. Because the truth is, if your life going forward is not going to be as good as it was, there's no positive thinking that's going to fix that. You need to replace whatever it is you've lost and convert that emotion, because that emotion's a sign. It's like, look, something's not right in your life. Then states. You have a state of happiness or you have a state of depression. In individual states, or anxiety or stress, there's different information that's running around your mind in each one. And there's different feelings in the body. So this is going to get you the distinguishing clarity on the differences. Underneath your mind, you have got many memories, though what people find is the things that have hurt most, and again, people don't get help until it's too late, or not too late, but they could have sorted things out sooner. And all that's running around is all the suffering. And it's a layer on top, and underneath is all the happy times. But people can't access that. Even if their life has been great, on top of that is all the problems. So this again is showing you how the mind works. More on that, about problems. People always trying to solve problems in their mind. So it's about going deeper. It's about emptying the bottle. So we'll bottle things down. Then what tends to happen is people change their perception, their imagination, what they think of life. Reality, I've broken it down to our idea of ourselves, our idea of the world around us, and how we think of other people. And in a model of the world, whether you think something about football or whatever subject, you're going to have ideas and you're going to have feelings about that. So it's like bricks in a house. You change one brick at a time. If I say to someone with depression, or their friend says to them, let's go to art gallery, they're going to make a picture in their mind. The pictures you make are based on your experience of life so far. So the truth is, there's 1,000 different ways that evening could go. But the person is going to make an image, and a lot of the time it's not a very good image. So then I'm not going to go. And then they get stuck in this faulty vision of how things are. So this is exposing to you all the way that your mind works that you might not even realize. So then for all these conditions and attributes of a condition of depression, these are all the different ways you get around it. So in that example, you would keep using your mind to see these different situations. Something in the future is troubling you. You might be concerned about the economy. Whenever you may be working and you're thinking, and whatever you're thinking of then makes you worry, it has power. So you need to be able to do the exercise so when this thing that's concerning you rises, it doesn't affect you, it doesn't take you out of a good place. Every thought is affecting you. It's either using energy or it has associations. There's pain in you, and that's coming out in the form of thoughts, so you have to deal with it. Vision. Okay, it's important you always have your vision. When something happens, something goes wrong, the way you thought your week or your month was going to go, it changes. And then people stay in a state of depression. Whereas as soon as information changes, you need to then deal with that information. So if your vision's been taken off, you put it back on again. You always have to have this. So that's a reflection, and it proves to you when you're depressed as to when you're not depressed is because of half the time what you're seeing in your mind. So if that's true, you have your model of the world, how you see the world in general and how you see your future and your present, you need to be able to choose what your experience is. So there's 100 things you can be sad about and there's 100 things you could be happy about. Not so much happy, but also relaxed. Things that are going to ground you. Like I've got my house, I've got water. These things, in the morning, if you have 30, 50, 100, you're then set for the day, and then when all the worries start coming in, there's no room for them. So you complete that, and you read that every morning. You continue to top up this reality, find the inspiration. If you want to recover as fast as possible, evening day routine, follow that. Because the subconscious mind in the evening and the morning, waking and sleeping, is more active and is more malleable. Okay, decisions and problems. Get these on the wall, somewhere you can see them. Because people procrastinate, they put things off, they're scared of making the wrong choice, or they're overwhelmed by their problems, so they don't want to deal with them, or they forget. If you have mental health problems, you forget about things and they get worse and worse and worse. And the truth is, because of the way you feel, it's almost impossible to deal with them. So you have to use this. Don't use your brain, because your brain's not working. So a calendar, for example, there's things that aren't important right now, but they will be later. There's things that are really important now that you need to deal with. And then there's things you don't feel like you can deal with. And most people will put these off. But what you need to do is separate all this, get some clarity about what your priorities are, and then figure out, right, I need to feel differently so I can do what I need to do. So then you use this, you feel differently about it, you take off the anxiety, and it's like, right, okay, I'm gonna go and do this now. Calendar, keep it in your mind, keep everything in your life in your vision. So you can have it scattered on the wall, on the fridge, or like on your desk set up. Opportunities. There's things that are going to come your way that are going to help you in your situation. But if you forget about it, that opportunity could have sped up your life by 2-3 months. But when you've got mental health conditions and so many problems going on, you forget about things. So you need to hold on to every gift you've been given. And more on the routine, daily journal, there's questions, and questions are going to get your mind running to you're moving things around. You want to have these pieces of paper, you can put it on card like a tobacco tin, and keep these on you. These are things that are going to bring you back to and keep you grounded. Things you need to remember, important things you need to remember. So every thought affects you. So you want to start to utilize these parts of the brain. Now, there are rules, there are things that you can live by that are going to either get you out of depression or prevent you going in. For example, some people should avoid junk food, because if they eat it and then that makes them tired for the evening, they're not going to be productive, and then the next day they feel terrible because they wasn't productive. So there's certain things to avoid if you've got destructive habits, and over time you then start moving towards healthy eating, exercising, and all those other things that are going to help you. But you do it in stages, change your lifestyle. And there's things that are going to if you fall into depression, there's things that will get you out straight away, like going for a walk. But you don't remember that if you're in depression. So you need to keep this stuff where you can see it. So if you fall down, it's like, right, I feel terrible, what can I do? You've got the list there. Right, so you're in control. This is in control. Your mind isn't. Depression, you need to start tracking it. When you fall into depression, there's things you can learn. It's like, right, why did this happen? And you start to keep track of it. So you have solutions. Before you fall into depression, different things start to happen. Once you start to notice your feelings changing is when you need to do some of these exercises so you can get back up to 100%. You don't, if you start down to 70%, don't stay at 70% for ages. That's what people do. And another problem comes, they're on 60%, and then they fall down. So if you stop cooking healthily, if you stop grooming, if you stop cleaning and exercising, okay, you need a notepad on you. Every thought is going to be something from your unconscious. You keep hold of it. There's going to be thoughts you have that are going to be for your future vision, that are going to be inspiring you, that are going to lift you up. You collect all these and eventually you have 20, 30, 40, 50, and it's a whole new state of mind you're in. And then the negative ones are the ones you deal with. The happiest time you had is an idea for the future. So think back to when were you happiest? All these questions will help you to remember all the details of that. And that's a model for the future. Joy, happiness, and joy, fulfillment, and enthusiasm. These are the three fundamentals of happiness. This explains what they are and gets you on the difference between them. Enthusiasm is about the future. So if you have doubts, that's interfering with the enthusiasm. So it's clearing everything out. Okay, so if you're not enthusiastic about the future, maybe it's because you haven't been inspired. If you're enthusiastic, it's something you're doing, it's something you're giving out. Whereas inspiration comes from other people, it comes from nature. Either you haven't been inspired and that's what you need to do, give you reason to live, or you have been inspired, but it was so long ago or it's underneath all the problems, you need to get back into that and feel that again, because these emotions are different to depression, and then live in this inspiration. That's going to help you to make these feelings you've got stronger. So there's so many questions in here. Who helped you along the way? And gratitude. Who you glad you met? Who helped you? And then there's obligation and strength. It's different to gratitude, but it's because of gratitude. I have to do. I feel a commitment to other people. And that's power. And that's going to get you through it, even if sometimes you don't feel happy, but you're always looking to keep moving, to keep changing your life. No more wasted time. And then confidence as well. You need to be confident. You need to completely accept yourself, and that's not think positive or I love myself. It's like, look, these are my mistakes. This is what I've done well. This is what I like about myself. This is what I don't like about myself. These are the qualities I should improve. These are the qualities I lost. I used to be really, funny or whatever. I've lost. So it's you got a complete, accurate self-assessment of what's happened to you over the years, and who you feel you are, and if you're still yourself. You need to be yourself. So that's going to help you do that. All your achievements, get them down. Once you remember all the things how far you've come and all the things you've done, there's energy in that. And then this one will help you, even the things you've accomplished, to expand that. Like, what does it mean if you achieved that? Well, it means so much more about you, and you start, the emotion starts growing until it's part of you, even the difficulties, all the punches you've taken, all the obstacles you had to get over. This is all still, you can convert these challenges into motivation and to confidence. Even periods in your life that you thought, I was only a waiter for however long, there's still learning, there's still emotion, there's still acquired self-esteem in all this time. So it's bringing all this to the surface. Your failures, there's things to learn from your failures. Once you've learned, that's why I made that mistake, or, that's why I didn't succeed in that, the emotion goes. And it's all about forwards, it's about the future. Language as well. So every emotion has with it is that growing emotions. Okay, a lot of people suffer with automatic thoughts. They think so much. Beliefs are the origins of those thoughts. So there's ideas that are making thoughts. So you need to deal with everything, every belief you have, until you're in clarity. Yeah? This is an exercise to uncover them. And then this is showing you how limiting and how damaging they are, these things, what it does to behaviour, things you do or things you don't do because of different experiences you have. So if this is an example, two people hand out CVs, one gets a job, one doesn't. One gets the feeling not to call up the company and say, hey, what did you think? And the other one just gets and calls them straight away. The one that doesn't call the company because perhaps in the past there was a rude secretary and said, oh, if you're in, we'll call you if we're interested. So in that case, she doesn't call and she's not the one that gets the job. So all this experience in the past is affecting us today. It's affecting what we think, it's affecting what we do, it's affecting how we feel. So this is all the stuff that's happening or not happening for you. This is gonna it's gonna teach you, and it's gonna help you to have control of your feelings and make better decisions. Yes, that's all to do with decisions and automatic thoughts. Okay, if you've been hurt by people, you probably don't like people in general very much or trust them, or even if you do, you think you do, but there's always that underlying tension, or it makes it hard to connect with people. But you need to learn to like and trust people again, because if that's proof, if you do, that all that hurt is gone. You need to leave paranoia as well. If you're constantly worrying about people, that person's going to mess me about, it's pain. Every time you think of it, every time it even pops into your mind, you're suffering. Anxiety and stress, different places. If you're in a public place, if it's the work, every environment, because of past associations, is going to cause different feelings. So you can be yourself with your partner. You're funny and witty and all these great things about you, but then around certain types of people in different places, then you're a shadow of yourself. You've got there's, because of the fear and all these, it constricts who you are. So you need to be you everywhere. Okay, work, relationship, resolutions, formats for resolution. People are terrible communicators. People don't hear what you say. They think about, they have their own associations. So they're not. You need to be able to communicate clearly to sort out all your problems, and to confront people. But you need to be able to confront people in the way they don't jump to worst case scenario in their mind. There's a way of doing it. If you have mental health problems, if your partner have mental health problems, again, these are different formats that are going to help you to have harmony. Because there's so much we don't know. Like if you speak to someone in a certain way, people feel attacked when they don't need to, because some people have got mental health problems they don't even realise. It's all perception that's people's problems. Okay, this one. How do you rebuild your self-esteem? If you've had really toxic people in your life. More stuff you need to be aware of if you have these conditions. Okay, goals. Now, goals is, you got to have goals. You've got to have an objective in life. But there's a lot in there that's not good for mental health conditions. People think of their goals and they get overwhelmed and they feel terrible. So there's doubts, as I said, emotions in with you don't believe, or think it's going to be challenging. You need to deal with all the emotions around your goals so you can move towards them and feel good about it and enthusiastic, not worried. Different questions, that are going to help you with your goals, if you need to make decisions to reduce the overwhelm. That's one exercise. Fear. Every stage moving towards a goal, there's fear there, and people get stuck for too long at different stages. So this exposes the fear and how to minimise how you feel so you can move forward without all this resistance. And in the book there's another section here. It's about, you need to be able to see how far you've come. And if you can feel that, then it's going to be easier. Resistance, like if you don't feel like doing something, like, right, I should really call this business and pitch them my product or service, but you don't feel like it. If you don't feel like it and you're calling up, they're not going to listen to you. So perhaps there's a reason for that. So this is an example of an exercise, how you would want to feel like doing it, because in the meditation, you can be like, oh, right, maybe it's because my product isn't finished yet. So then you go and you work for it, and then you go to try the company again. If it's finished, you'll have a full, complete feeling. So our feelings are signals. They're important. And unimportant people are important. Things in your life are important to you. You need to be able to tap into a feeling of importance. Something is important. That's different to depression. If you have isolated yourself, you might not feel like you anymore. You might have put off seeing your friends because you don't feel like you don't want to bring anyone down. This is going to make it much easier for you to be social again as a format to preparing yourself for social interaction. So at least for that social interaction, you can be confident and have a good time. And then when you go home, if you're still depressed, it's okay. But these are all preparation. Staying in touch with people. You need to keep people you love in your mind. You think you haven't spoken to them in a week, but you might not have spoken to them in months. Your objective. All different around your objective. How to make them more compelling. About helping other people. So all these reasons, it's reinforcing, like it needs to be strong. Your objective needs to be really emotive. It needs to be gripping. So that's what you're experiencing, not all the suffering. And there's decisions you need to make in your objectives. Make sure you're making the right ones. Behaviours that take you off course. So you want to head in one direction, but then you go and do something else. Sometimes our objectives can be unaligned. It's about gaining alignment, so you get the best of both worlds. And this actually shows you how you make decisions in your mind. You think one thing, you think something else, and then you make a decision. It shows you how you can get things done. More on beliefs. It's very... you've got to retrace the sources of where all these thoughts come from and deal with the hurt from the memories. So there's a lot on that. People stay in bad jobs, even though they're more capable of doing more. But again, it shows you the people's rationale. They think, oh, well, things might get better. It shows you the thinking process, your own thinking process that can be tricking you. These are all different things. Like you need daylight, you need fresh air. That's not in legislation to have adequate daylight. But it's going to affect your mental health. There's all these other things. Sound affects your mental health. You need to be aware of the variables. If you're not aware of the variables, you're going to keep getting affected and not have any idea why you're depressed. Thoughts need to be organised with your thoughts. Now this is all on awareness. Awareness is the body, emotions, where the emotions are, relaxation, pain, tension. This is all going to bring you back into your body, so you're not living in your mind anymore. It's very deep part, but this is the change. This is really where you get all that pain out, and you feel different. You need a new body. These are all notes you can stick up on the wall so you remember the most important parts. Energy. How does energy work? How do you have more energy? All different things that are going to help you, like with your diet, with your sleep. It shows you all to keep track of different things, like your energy levels. Environment. What is an environment? How does an environment affect you? Music. So much there. Addictions. Destructive behaviours. How do you get through addictions? So, and spirituality in the final part. There's a lot there. 200 sides, maybe over 100 different exercises you can do. You can download that, and that's all yours.